The sun doesn't exist. Conspiracy. Stitch incoming. Women, sun doesn't exist. Me, a 13-year-old who has been studying nuclear fission/fusion for almost 5 years. So smart, such a genius, they can prove the sun exists. Yeah. Hey everyone, Noble Xenon here, and welcome back to r/iamverysmart, where only the highest IQ individuals are allowed. Let's get started. So, a psychiatrist scored me at 149. Nobody worth talking to. I have 4 PhDs, and pretty much have to live in my own head. By the way, you sure as hell don't want to be above 160. 3 of my students ended themselves, totally unfit to live in this world. Thinking emoji? It really is lonely at the top of the IQ scale, huh? Now, what are you doing with those 4 PhDs exactly? The intellectual website known as Reddit has dumbed down far too much. I miss the days when the lower IQ masses were intimidated by the old Reddit UI. It has become exceptionally bad recently since a significant amount of the Twitter-only crowd moved here. The top comments usually have a letter U or UR to mean you or your, call themselves lowercase I, or they get their 3rd grade words mixed up, 2 and 2. These comments would have been downvoted and shamed in the past, not upvoted to the top. Grammar aside, the comments are typically mindless drivel or an immature and unoriginal attempt at humor. Reddit grammar police, open up, I'm here to punish you with a downvote. Never mind that I said intimated instead of intimidated. Wait, who's that knocking at my basement door? And now don't worry guys, he's the superior image. Sometimes I believe I'm the superior image of what a gifted kid should be, because I didn't get burnout or mental issues, nor am I even neurodivergent. I just stopped caring in school. That's about it, to be honest. I'm not bragging, by the way, just seriously feels like this considering how everyone else went. Well, here's an intellectual who thinks they're so different because they claim they didn't struggle, but I bet they are in fact struggling. It's okay to admit it, my dude. No need to brag about being different. And now, according to this individual, a whole gender doesn't believe in facts. Gonna toss out my physics degree, I guess. Someone says, if you can express your disagreements dispassionately and calmly and have evidence to back up your stance, then you're doing all you can. But if they make emotional arguments to factual or at least provable ideas, it really says more about them and they're not worth your engagement. If you feel this is the way the conversation is going to go, don't bother engaging in the first place. Yet of course the so-called intellectual replies, you'll never win an argument with women in calm statistical evidence-based claims. That's why I don't argue with women. No point. Whatever you said there was not factual in the slightest, but I bet he thinks he owned them with facts and logic. And now, not now, babe. I'm automating API calls. Dude, forgot to tell you a funny yesterday. She got home from work and was all excited that she embedded hyperlinks in a Word doc. I think they teach that in preschool, but at the time he came in I was chaining together API calls to automate a process. She started watching me and just ended up leaving the office, lol. You know, with a lot of these people, it's not the intelligence that's the problem, it's the bragging, and the making others seem stupid. They claim to be of superior intelligence, while this next one claims to be well-read. Biggest problem is not enough people these days have read just one of these books, let alone all 3. I read all 3 by age 18, probably why I'm the way I am. 1984, Brave New World, and Fahrenheit 451. You are here in the middle of the 3. Isn't this required reading in a lot of schools? Bro, you couldn't even begin to fathom the level of knowledge I have on music. Y'all just children thinking it's meaningless whatever, but Jesus, y'all probably don't even know what kind of amps these bands used. Strings? Pedals? I do. Oh, I also know how to play all their songs on all their instruments, so I, of all of you, am probably your best versions of yourselves had any of you attempted to learn something about this music. What? But y'all don't know the difference between Blood on the Dance Floor and A Date to Remember, so that's on you, not me. We have a musical genius over here. Hey, they didn't say they were a spelling genius. And now, Instagram Reels users. Sweetie, you need to find some friends and get a life. I have 4 college degrees and I'm in the 2nd year of a PhD. A ridiculous video popped up in my feed of some hideously ugly obese moose, and I commented that she should drop some pounds and watch her heart. No less than 100 of you, ironically all with rainbows and pronouns, descended upon it in typical offended fashion. I don't research influencer videos that mean nothing to my lifer. I write 125-page papers using peer-reviewed sources and textbooks you'll never wrap your head around. When I was 16, I had straight A's too, in science. Not how to be an epic whiner. Next one's a block. For your own good, so you don't get too stupid worrying about the internet. This was posted, by the way, on a reel of a bigger woman deadlifting 600 plus pounds. Wow. This person commented, shouldn't she be worried about her heart? And I asked if they were stupid, and what a lying nerd. You say you write 125-page papers, but you're also wasting your time writing things like this. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? This next one tends to articulate at a higher level of diction. Someone says, why is it not a healthy mindset? Are you saying that talking about sex is bad? Intellectual replies, excessively obsessing about an event that is due diligence isn't invoked to experience is deleterious. This guy sleeps with his thesaurus. I tend to articulate at a higher level of diction. It may sound pretentious, but it's a manner of speaking nonetheless. Average Redditor activities right here. Misread I tend to ejaculate to a higher level. What? Haha, satirical humor attempting to devalue my premise. This next one is looking down on people who watch movies. Captain America I Am Legend? You know you're sad when you can tell what superhero movie it is from a picture. Seriously, dude, get a life. I travel the world. I have a PhD in my own company. Do something productive, man. Rolls eyes. These intellectuals are so obsessed with PhDs today. Do they use them to further their career? Nah, they'd rather use them to brag on Reddit. This next one's on a post about an internet block put on by the parents to stop the OP from using the internet when it's bedtime. Unaware? Where do you install this where? From parent/ISP. Oh, this one over your head? Let me break it down for you since you are struggling. You typed unaware, which contains the slang word where, which is short for software. Notice the last 4 letters of that word as well as the one you originally replied with. Software is the technical word for what you probably call apps. Software or an app is typically installed in a folder located on your device. When you respond with from parent/ISP, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This whole sequence is extra funny because you are in fact the one that is unaware, which is the reply you made to 1. Insult this poor internet handicapped child, and 2. To sound smart. You did neither of the two, and in fact look dumb now. Have a good day. Bro is acting as if software is some obscure jargon that's only spoken by the most experienced of developers. Bro, did you ask an AI to generate this? Nope. Believe it or not, some people are still able to use the brains. You forgot to upvote your last reply with your 5th alt account, by the way, smart guy. There's only one person who's unaware here. I'll let you figure that one out. And now we've got ourselves a blue check mark over here. I'd say it's a great example of critical thinking skills. We had our IQs tested long ago. Mine is higher at 136, which annoyed me because it's only 4 points off an official genius. So I can really only be an unofficial genius. What a shame. But at least it's closer than 131. Those 131s will never attain the level of genius. And now we have the 8-year-old computer whiz. CS50 wasn't hard for me. Most of the exercises I completed in less than an hour. Wow, what blazing speed. I made a whole game for the final project too. And keep in mind I was 8 when I did that. I honestly find it funny that teens and even adults find the course difficult. Also, there's a very good reason to start with C. You work closely with the memory and you'll have better understanding of how the computer works. I've studied C# later in school, and the way data structures were explained were so abstract that I wouldn't know what a node is and how they connect without CS50. So you should definitely not skip the C. In fact, if you have the opportunity to learn more about C outside of CS50, you should definitely do it, even if you won't use the language. Coding is just a basic skill of a computer scientist. It is easy to learn, so don't give up even if the course torments your brain. There are things like theoretical computer science, calculus, and discrete math that are a lot harder to learn, but not impossible. I was learning calculus at 15, as unlike with coding, I had to learn a lot of other math before stepping into calculus. So stop complaining things are hard and actually try to learn and understand them. If an average 8-year-old can complete CS50 without struggling too much, you should know how to. Just because you have claimed to do this at 8 years old doesn't mean that the average 8-year-old can do this. There has to be better ways on how you can give advice on how to approach this class. This next one gives something 5 stars. Excellent dovetail jig. Actually, the second time I bought this only because poverty forced me to sell one a few years ago. Excellent instrument. Having a PhD and being qualified maths teacher is not a necessity for setting this up, but I suppose it helps. Did you really need to mention that in your review? Cut's excellent quality, precise dovetail joints, and I thoroughly recommend it. Good to know, good to know. And now, you're helping others? Astrophysicists know this is basic stuff. Do some research. It's strange how they call it sound when it's really light being translated into the audible spectrum, so we still have no idea what this actually sounds like. And the reply? It's a given. Everyone knows that. The people who are truly interested in quantum mechanics / astronomy or work in the field know how to navigate the verbiage. So if you don't, maybe you should do some research before pointing out the obvious, LMAO. I would assume that, but I don't assume it. There's a good lot of people who would believe that this is the actual sound of black holes. And now the IQ levels are just increasing here. You go somewhere that people are smarter than you and work with and learn from them until you hit the ceiling. Then repeat. Good advice if you want to learn something and get better at it, but of course the intellectual replies, I don't know many people with an IQ over 160. Can you introduce me to some? Well, it may not be your actual intelligence, but the attitude you give off. Your most recent comment would be a major red flag that you think you're better than other people, and rather than calling you out, they unfortunately say you're too smart. Now this person right here is speaking facts. It's the people who think they are superior for having high IQs. That's the problem. Not the high IQ itself. LMFO. Laugh my F off? 70% of the entire human population is incapable of doing these things. Only 1% of the population is capable of being surgeons and other extremely skilled positions, such as rocket scientists and quantum physicists. Why is it always quantum with these people? 7% of the human population is capable of doing highly skilled positions like general practitioners, therapists, engineering, etc. 12 to 20% of the population is capable of doing skilled labor, such as contracting, electrical, automotive, etc. The rest are artists, which have a different skill grading system. The majority of the planet is incapable of fixing their own vehicle properly, a large portion incapable of changing a tire, even still another portion incapable of pumping their own gas. That doesn't even yet touch on the 80% of the human population built to follow authority figures based on Milgram's experiment types. They're literally incapable of making a choice without an authority, even if that authority is immoral, unjust, unscientific, or wrong. Trust me. As someone above an IQ of 150, the majority are incapable of doing much more than what their genetics allow them to. Put it this way, do you think I'm incapable of making coffee? Do you think that your job exists to service me and make my life easier, or to allow you to exist by giving you a paycheck? 70 to 80% of the human population is designed to be servile followers based on genetics and psychology, yet y'all just keep voting and holding on to the same outdated systems, which is why I am content with allowing you to exist by buying a coffee. So what is this dude saying? Is this dude saying that most people are meant to serve those with higher IQ levels? What system does this person want? One where an IQ number determines your entire life? Cause something tells me that won't go too well. And this last intellectual says random nonsense to try and seem smarter than women, but of course fails horribly. Women tend to talk to relay emotion, men tend to talk to relay facts. facts. It's amazing we have such a large population on this spheroid, hurtling around her ball of fusion. Yes, let me throw up some generalizations and follow it up by some vaguely scientific facts. I'm sure that'll convince people I'm right. So, I'd like to thank all of my channel members, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Dark Garden, Jade Demby, Catalan Cormendi, Mike Hawk, Hold Up, Nightcrawler, Stormcloud the Wolf, Vicmeister1999, Zoe Horsham, and Miranda. You can join in the link below, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell, and comment what's on your mind.